It's incredibly useful to be able to bring external images or files into Procreate so that you can work on them there. Bringing in, say, a reference, or it might be a photograph that you've taken, work that you've done with pencil and paper that you now want to complete in Procreate. So I'm going to show you 3 ways of getting these images into Procreate, but I only recommend that you use one of them, and that'll be the 3rd one that I show you. And I expect that it will become self-obvious throughout the video why this is the best method and the only one I recommend. So the easiest and most obvious one is when you're in the gallery. Let's look up the top right-hand corner here. We've got our plus sign, which we've used before. Next to it, we've got photo. So we can tap on photo and we can go into our camera roll and we can find ourselves a photograph and use it. So let's tap on this wedge of cheese. And there we have untitled artwork. And up it comes. So that is the first and most obvious, easy option. The next possibility is import. So we can go and tap on import. And then we can go to Dropbox and choose ourselves something. So let's look at references here. I can pull myself in a reference. Right, there we have that. Okay. Now, the final one, and this is the only one that I recommend, is to create your canvas at whatever size you usually use. So I'm going to use my 6" by 6" square canvas. And then go to the actions menu. So our wrench or spanner. The first possible action in the top left-hand corner is add, that plus sign. And you see here we've got insert a file or insert a photo. I only use insert a file or insert a photo. So let's go and say insert a photo. And again, the source is our camera roll. We can go and find exactly the same image and say, yes, that's the one I want to use. Now you can see there's a difference here. And let's take a careful look at it. If you look at the one where I used the photograph, I said select photo, and it created a canvas for that photograph. Look at the difference in size. And if you look below your canvases, this one with the cheese, which says untitled artwork, the first one we created, it's 561 by 546 pixels. If you look at the one that I created the canvas first and then inserted the image, it's 6" by 6". Now this is why this is so important. You want to be able to control the size of your canvas. You want to be in charge of the resolution of your canvas. When you just open a photograph as a canvas or import a photograph as a canvas, it comes in at some random size and it comes in at some random resolution, and you can't control that. Whereas when you go in, like I have done here, and you say insert my photograph, it comes into a known canvas size. And you might say, well, that's all very well, but look, we've got that tiny little piece of cheese stuck in the middle of the frame, and that's not what I want. I don't want a poxy little piece of cheese. Well, there's an easy solution to that. We tap on this, and you might remember there was this dotted line around the image when I first inserted it. This arrow is called the transform tool, and this enables us to adjust the size of something. So if I just tap and drag, I can drag this piece of cheese out to fill the canvas. And when I've finished, I just tap on the arrow, and there I've got my canvas full of cheese. If I want to adjust the position of it again, I tap back onto the arrow, I push down and across, and I can move my cheese around. If I decide I've made it a bit too big, I tap again, and I make it smaller and move it around again. And you can adjust and adjust as many times as you want to until you get that reference exactly positioned where you want it to. So let's have a look again at the difference. If I open this first piece of cheese that I created just by using the photograph as a canvas, watch this. I've gone in my usual, I'm using my gel pen as we've done before. Nothing has changed since the demonstration I did with the gel pen. Look at the size of my nib on there. So I've got the gel pen at the maximum width, and this is the nib size that I get. Now let's go and look at the one where I created the canvas first and inserted the cheese. Once again, we're using the gel pen. Once again, I have the size of it set at the maximum width. Look at this, look how much narrower and thinner it is. And this is what I meant when I said use the same canvas size over and over and over, because you can control the resolution, you can control the size of the canvas, and that means that you have a growing sense of what nib size is required to get the effect that you're looking for. So different nibs perform in different ways, and we'll look at this when we go back into brushes. But what you want to be able to do is to have an intuitive understanding of, if I use the gel pen at maximum width, nib width, I know what I'm going to get. If I use it at a tiny nib width, I know what I'm going to get. You don't want to be getting these ad hoc canvas sizes which leave you guessing as to what effect your nib is going to give you on that particular canvas size. And then again, you're also subject to whatever resolution that image is that you've brought in. And that could be a very poor resolution, which means you end up with a shocking final image. It's not crisp, it's not clear. You've put in all the time to try and get it looking superb, and then when you upload it or try to use it somewhere else, you realize that the resolution is not sufficient to get a crisp, beautiful outline. So that is the reason that I recommend that you only use this third possibility. Create your own canvas, insert your file into it, and then use the transform tool to adjust the size of your reference file. Move it around on the canvas until you've positioned it exactly the place that you want it, and then go in knowing that you have an understanding of what your nibs are going to do on your canvas size. That's all for this video. Time to move on.